Yes, everybody, welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to an update video on the channel. Hope you guys are keeping well. It's been a really busy day, to be fair. The last couple of days, we've had some little pieces of news. Of course, we are now into the last week of the transfer window. We are expecting it to be busy with hopefully ins, but potentially some outs as well. But we've had a lot of breaking news and big pieces of transfer news today alone, which I'm going to be getting into. As always, guys, be sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I appreciate you guys that watched the videos over the last week or so and stuck with me a little bit. Obviously, I was abroad, there was still news breaking. I tried my best to give half decent quality videos. I always prefer to be at home where there's a bit more production value on videos, got a little bit more time to think about things. So no, I appreciate you sticking with me for that one. But yeah, the big breaking news today: Strand, Larson and the interest from Newcastle United. Well, their interest has been made official now, putting down a £50 million offer for the Wolves striker, flat fee, no add-ons. And it has now been rejected by Wolves. The news was officially broken by Liam Keane of the Express and Star. A lot of other sources have jumped on it, including The Athletic and David Ornstein, saying that Wolves believe they do not have enough time to find replacements or find anyone that's going to be ready to hit the ground running if they were to sell Strand Larson. So the stance, as it has been for the last week or so, Wolves do not want to sell Strand Larson this month. So it remains to be seen. It'll be a big test if Newcastle come in with bigger and better offers than that £50 million. But yeah, it's a fee that obviously Wolves aren't happy with and have rejected for now. I think I've said this to a couple of people. I think one of the main things, whether you think this is a good fee or not, the issue Wolves have had, they have not replaced players properly over the last few years. It took them how long to find an adequate replacement for Raul Jimenez? Pedro Neto probably still hasn't really been replaced properly either. So it takes Wolves far too long to find quality replacements. I think if Wolves knew that there are players lined up and had the trust of fans to line these adequate replacements up, there probably could be conversations to be had here. But this is sensible from Wolves to not move Strand Larson. I think it would be in a lot of trouble if he were to move on this window, but I'm sure it probably isn't the last we've heard on that situation. One player that will be leaving, and it's going to be pretty close now to having an official confirmation, is Fabio Silva. Now lots of stories again by reputable sources that Borussia Dortmund are closing in on the signing of Fabio Silva in and around a €25 million package overall. And like I've mentioned on videos before, by the time you add the loan fees in, you're probably not too far away from getting the fee that Wolves originally paid for the striker. So you guys know I've wanted it to work for Fabio, but I've also appreciated that his time at the football club is done. It's been done for a long while now, and it's been about finding the right value for him. And after a successful year last year round at Las Palmas, the value rose, and Wolves have got, all things considered, have actually got an okay fee for Fabio Silva in the end. And hopefully this will allow maybe a little bit more flexibility for us to help bolster several positions over the last week of the window. Two of the players now that I'm going to mention Wolves have been linked with. First of all, Kristantos Uche, a player that I've mentioned a couple of times over the last couple of weeks. But it was said last night, late last night, that Wolves were working on a deal and hopefully close to finding an agreement with Getafe for the player. Now, the Nigerian international is with the Getafe squad tonight. He was videoed being asked about his future, which he was quiet and silent on. It didn't really give much away about his availability, so we'll have a look to see tonight if he is part of that Getafe team. I mean, if he's left out, it tells us a lot of what we need to know, but also I don't think it's the end of the world if he does play some part for the Spanish team. Of course, Jon Arias had his farewell match and played. Maybe that was a little bit different because he was playing at home. But Uche to Wolves, one to watch, and at the moment it looks maybe one of the more likely signings. I think the only real downside with this, of course, an African player, so he'll be missing for AFCON towards early part of January. But a much needed addition to the forward line, I think, and probably ticks a lot of boxes for what Vitor wants from one of those more attacking players as well. And another player that is still likely to join is going to be Ladislav Krejci from Girona. I mentioned him last week as well. Could play defensively, could play midfield as well if needed. Now, the worst, a slight hiccup potentially in the move over the weekend. There were reports from Spain saying that the player wasn't 100% convinced on what he wanted to do just yet. But he played for Girona yesterday. If you want to look at the result, they got thumped 5-0. I don't think Krejci covered himself in glory in that game. But of course, it's only one game of football. So it seems likely that at the moment he will still come in. So 2 players from the Spanish league, Ladislav Krejci, Cristantos Uche, could be the players joining Wolves this last week of the window. You would hope that isn't the deal done, or the deal's done. Vitor said he wanted another 3 even before these 3 players. So, these 2 players I mentioned then. So hopefully there is at least one more player on their way. At the moment, there's no real news or links of who that player may well be. But if we sign Uche, who's more of a number 10, we bring in Ladislav Krejci, you would assume, as a centre-back option, with maybe the option of being a backup midfielder. Let me know, guys, in the comment section where else you think we need to strengthen. Possibly a backup striker to Jürgen Strand Larsen. Maybe another holding midfielder as backup, I don't know. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. As always, guys, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. All being well, there should be a podcast out later this evening as well, where we discuss the Bournemouth game. We discuss the ownership of the currently at the football club as well, plus much, much more. But as always, look after yourselves, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys very soon.